We are back again for another episode. Okay, what has gone on this week at Shirt in the Box and in my life? A lot of things. We are on late Thursday, the weather's got better. I've been in Manchester, slightly run down. A flu/cold is getting to me, and I'm hoping that it's not about to ruin my weekend. We have been busy as always. I think the first thing I want to jump into is YouTube. For a while, Google is something I've always neglected, and we've neglected as a company. We've been a meta-focused company. And so now as we look to add new revenue channels, and Google being one of them, YouTube also fits into that. And now the content you make for YouTube has to be different to the content you make for Meta. It's taken us some while, and to be honest, it wasn't really on my radar to do this, but someone from our creative team, Isabella, pitched it to me. The way she presented it, really detailed, and the ideas I really liked. It kind of made a no-brainer. So how we're getting it made is her brother in Colombia runs a creative agency, and he has like mates and stuff like that who are Netflix hired creators, like directors and whatever. I'm not too technical on this, but for a small budget, essentially a budget that would get you one movie, well not one movie, but one ad in the UK, maybe not even, they're going to make 5 different YouTube ads in kind of landscape. So that is exciting. And I think the reason why we are kind of taking this opportunity is because we need to do more top of funnel activations. So that could be organic, that could be collaborations, or that could be YouTube, out of house, newspaper, advertising, billboards, stuff like that that really gets people talking and creates awareness of the company. That's what we are doing at the minute. I should have those done by the end of this month. Now I'm hoping that I can have, because we're hiring at the minute, someone for Google and SEO, someone in for the end of the month too. Although we've had a lot of people come through and take the first round, which is the test, and not a lot of people have scored really great on it. And it's concerning because there's meant to be, I was reading the other day, like 1 million unemployed people 16 to 24. The quality of applications, now not everyone who's applied is 16 to 24. To graduate, well, it's poor. But I guess it's one of those things, it's just the longer we keep serving ads, hopefully we get someone in. There's 1 or 2 good ones. However, I think we've taken them to interview. I need to see the feedback on that, but I don't think we're too happy with what we've got at the minute. I think it'll fit in nicely then as the overall strategy. Meta will still make a huge part of it, but then Google and YouTube will fit in nicely, maybe at 15 to 20% of budget, which is still a significant spend per month and justifies having one person for it. Talking about Meta, so as you will know, a large part of our marketing activities come about through Meta. So that's where I spend a lot of my time is focusing on Meta, and especially creatives, ad management, landing pages. This week we got our first ads from the agency we started working with, and they actually are really good. Now they're a week delayed. I think a few things going on in their part of the world, such as the fighting and the bombings. So that's understandable. And when they came, they were really good. I'm going to launch them into the ad account after this or either tomorrow, and I'm excited to see how they go. After this initial release from the agency, then there's new ads coming every week. I think it's 5 new concepts every week, and they're on percentage of spend, so they're encouraged to make winning ads essentially. So you know, if they think they can make more winning ads, they'll make more ads. So it was very good, and a lot of the ads they produced were unaware ads, which I think something is we don't do great at. I think we make very good bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, but not top of funnel content in terms of ads. And I would say top of funnel content is maybe the toughest. I would think so, but that's maybe just because we're good at middle and bottom, and we haven't cracked top at the minute. It has encouraged me to rework how we do creative. So at the minute, when the guys are going through and coming up with their concepts, they previously were going persona and then angle. However, now we've changed it so it's persona, which is just basically age and demographic. Then they're doing awareness stage. So like you've got then Eugene Schwartz 5 stages of awareness. Once they fill that out, then they're choosing the emotional trigger that they're trying to pull, and the buyers they're trying to overcome from the ad. So I think that just extra level complexity that we're trying to do should hopefully pay out. And from like a data nerds kind of point of view, we can then dig deep into, okay, this ad worked and it had this buyer and this trigger and this awareness stage. Okay, let's make more, or let's make more lower down the awareness stage. So I'm pretty hyped with that, and it's took a lot of playing about because creative isn't my natural thing, and it's something I've had to dive into a bit more, but I think I'm getting there, and I think I want to put put our guys more onto that kind of old school awareness stage. I think we've done some on it a year ago, but more onto like the Eugene Schwartz type stuff, because whilst I've heard a lot about him, I've actually never read any of his content. Obviously I've read content from his disciples, all the famed advertisers there is out there, but I think for myself I probably need to dive into that as someone who is in love with the marketing world. We're working on basically making our ad creatives both YouTube and Meta, and that is essentially a large part of our company. We were joking, me and Connor, who's our head of ops, about this the other day. We are essentially just a marketing company that has a product, because over half, if not more, maybe 2/3 of our employees are all just in marketing, and marketing is a broad umbrella of creative growth that we have. So yeah, as I touched on, we were in Manchester this week, both Connor and I. It was an interesting experience. So we had an important meeting which I can't touch on the first day, but then on the second day we met with suppliers, and that went really good. So we met with our main supplier. I don't really want to drop their name, but that was a good conversation because we got order book right through to the end of the year. There's one small hiccup with that, but it's easy fixed. Then we were focusing on new sports. So as you know, we've launched rugby. It's selling well. We're going to continue to add more in terms of that product range, and then we're looking at another sport for the end of the year with that supplier who has a reasonable amount of stock for that sport. It's looking at maybe we'll do a clearance deal for the new sport and then move on to production runs. We continue at evergreen. I was looking today, because we got post-purchase survey data now, I was looking at one of the questions is, what products would you like next? And there was a few for this new sport, which is encouraging, a few for other sports that we want to do down the line, and then a few which were just random, like especially in the US, people are saying we should do soccer cleats, emphasis on the cleats, because it's just a weird thing to say. But imagine one day we're doing, and I can see it working well now, I could see like especially a subscription, because the football boot wearer is a cult type of person. They wear those boots over and over, and maybe that's how you keep growing down the line when you've got really big, is you're doing mystery boxes of football boots, because everyone who plays football has to wear boots, and everyone who plays football probably wears a boot or two a season. So I can see it doing well. Maybe that's something to consider when we've got Nike and Adi on board down the line. Let me get back on track. So I was talking about our supplier. That conversation went well. Yeah, I'm excited to keep building that relationship, and even that supplier's making a lot of changes themselves. It's interesting seeing how they grow and like comparing it to our company. Then the second supplier we went to meet is someone we don't have any stock of yet, but we're looking to work with going forward, and they were very receptive, showed us around their showroom, and they had tons of new kits from the upcoming season, which is exciting to look at. And it kind of was, as we walked out of there, I was like realizing like 16-year-old me would love to see new season tops about 4 months before they got released, because that's what I used to love, was like refreshing on footy headlines, like new kit releases. Be able to like see them in the flesh, to be invited to a showroom to see them nonetheless, and then be talking about ordering thousands of quantities of them is pretty cool. Maybe it's just worth taking the time to sit and think about. That was good experience. The showroom's really cool. Super sick building. Manchester's full of super sick buildings. We're looking to start a relationship with them. I think there's a few more hurdles to jump through on terms of that conversation, but I think there is really an emphasis from both sides to work together, so it's possible. That would be a cool one, because they have some really good stock, and they're also multi-sport, which is good because that's what we're looking for. So overall successful trip, although now I'm feeling a bit sick, which is not so good. So I'm hoping that I haven't caught something on the flights, and that when I get out of here and get to bed, it doesn't impact my weekend. I think something I just want to touch on in general is I've been reading in the news this week in the e-commerce industry. Interesting seeing Meta make a pivot from credit card charges to now everyone has to pay via bank transfer, and purely that's a play on their behalf to earn extra money. Because like, if you think about this, a credit card charge is like 3%, I believe, when you pay with it. With charging through bank transfer, they save that 3%. Now there is a thing that they won't be able to recoup some money, because people will just be at the end of the month, no, I'm not paying that bank transfer. So I wonder how that'll work, because they'll have to manage that like kind of debt chasing. I've heard from people that they've had like bills of, say, because you can get credit lines at the minute of close to like $500,000, and Meta have just gone, okay, after 6 months, and just never chased people on that, which is an interesting one, because ultimately it's only worth $500,000 if they say it's worth $500,000. Like, what is ad space worth on their platform? It's whatever they deem it to be worth, and they deem it to be worth like 10% more each year, just inflation in their platform. So I wonder if they'll continue that, or if they'll have like engaged debt chasers and stuff like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, that's all for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support. I'm still getting some cool messages off the back of this. So I'll be back next week. Hopefully have a guest. Let's keep rolling.